Hello, and welcome to The Archives. I'm your host, Previ, once again. I'm going to be taking a look at Blood Money. Now, Blood Money is the next data pack in the Flashpoint data cycle. I would have gotten to this a little earlier, but I couldn't manage to find the images of the cards. They weren't all up, and then when they were up, I didn't have the time to record them. So I'm a little behind on this. My apologies. But we're going to just jump right in and tackle some of these wonderful new cards that they have here. I quite like some of them. So let's get to it. All right. Here we have the first card. We have Credit Crash. Now, Credit Crash is an Anarch run event. 1 credit to play it. So you play this card, you make a run, trash the first non-agenda card you access during this run at no cost. The Corp can spend credits equal to the res or play cost of the access card in order to prevent this trash. So, that is with 1 influence. I can see this being useful because it says here the first non-agenda card. So that could be anything from an operation to an asset, to an upgrade, to a piece of ice. At least I'm pretty sure it could be a piece of ice, because it's just non-agenda card. So, yeah. And the Corp can pay credits equal to the res or play cost. So if you hit, like, a Wotan, or a Janus, or Heimdall, or something like a big, heavy piece of ice that costs a lot to res, you can trash that at no cost with this card. And wait, I wonder if this would work that way. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, you could trash the first one you access. So you hit R&D or you hit HQ. Whatever card you're pulling, you can trash at no cost, unless the Corp pays money for it. And if it's something that they're going to use, something that they need, yeah, that could be worthwhile. Though if it's a 0 res cost, the Corp can pay that no problem. What I'm wondering about, because I wonder, like, I know if you're hitting ice, you're encountering ice. I know you do that, but I don't think you access it. So yeah, I don't think it works that way. But still, this is a nice little card for Anarchs. I'm not sure who the fellow is sitting there, but given the credits crashing, everybody's hurting for money, the economy's up in the air. This guy sitting on the beach in like a suit there, that's kind of like he's just watching the stock market crash or something, and he doesn't know how he's going to make ends meet. So it's kind of, I like the thematic element going on here. I really do. All right, let's have a look at the next card. Oh, here we have Rumor Mill with Princess Space Kitten, who you can see she's a kitten with a tiara and a bubble helmet like astronauts shouting through a megaphone. Rumor Mill. 1 credit, event, current, 2 influence on this. It's a pretty high influence for a card. It takes a little bit to splash it in. This card is not trashed until another current is played or an agenda is scored. So either the Corp has to play an agenda or play a current or score an agenda in order to get rid of this. The text box of each unique non-region asset and upgrade is blank. Flavor text of "You can have a lot of fun in 23 seconds" by Princess Space Kitten. Now, I actually found out what this means because I talked with some of the boys down at the Sentry Box that play Netrunner, and they made sure to explain it to me so that I understood it. So what this means is, once this is played, if you've got any assets or upgrades that are unique, meaning you can only have 1 active at any one time, so it's got that little diamond symbol. So every unique asset or upgrade, the text box will be blank when that's up. So you just can't use them. Now this This also says unique non-region asset and upgrade. So any upgrades that are region specific, like Chilo City Grid, Mumbad City Grid, pretty much any of the city grids or the any of the grids, the region grids, uh, they may be unique, but they're region upgrades, so they aren't touched by this, so they can't be affected. Only this is more towards sysops and other certain assets and upgrades that work similarly. But even so, even with that, this card pretty much guarantees, as long as the runner is running this, you need to have a few. I'd say if you're running Corp, you need to have a few currents in there just in case they get this out, so that you can easily easily get rid of it, because this could destroy some of your careful planning. Uh, it's quite interesting. I love the artwork. This glorious pink kitten. Kind of makes me wonder if we're ever going to see Princess Space Kitten, the hacker identity. So that's interesting. I like this. As a runner, I would include this. This is also something I may have to include. I may have to include it when I actually get around to making an Anarch deck, because one of these days I've got to set myself down and make an Anarch deck. So this might be in one of them. All right, let's pop on over here to the next card. Oh, here we have some Anarch breakers, icebreakers. We have NFR with a wonderful. This looks like an alchemical symbol, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's very gorgeous art. I love the artwork on this card. I think it stands for Nerfer, NFR, maybe? I don't know. So this is a 3 install for 1 memory unit, Icebreaker Fractor. 3 influence, 1 strength. So not a very high strength. But it says when an encounter in which you use Nerfer, or NFR, to break all subroutines on that piece of ice ends, you place a power counter on it. It has +1 strength for each power counter on it. 1 credit to break a barrier subroutine. The reason why I think it's Nerfer and the NFR is because of the flavor text of balance out the equation. Because when you nerf something in gaming terminology, for those of you who don't know, it tends to mean that if something is nerfed, it's usually nerfed to balance things. So I don't know. But this could be handy, especially if there are any level 1 barriers, like 1 strength barriers, that you can get in and be like, use this to break subroutines. You're just putting power counters on it, constantly raising its strength. So it constantly builds and builds and builds. And if you manage to get a way to lower the strength of a piece of ice for a couple times so you can break through it, as need be, you can build up that strength as well. 3 influence costs, that's pretty hefty. Pretty much guarantees that it's not going to be in many decks, but I don't know. This might have a place in my Professor Strange deck. Those of you who don't know, I have a Professor deck that I'm working with and tweaking, kind of like Doctor Strange in a way, but he's Professor Strange. And I have all kinds of thematic elements sewn in with monsters and demons and manipulating of reality and powerful magical weapons, stuff like that. This might be something that I could throw in there, because I've been looking to tweak it a bit. But yeah, this is a nice breaker. As long as you can start building up those power counters, this could work. This could be nice. All right, so let's move on to the next. See what we have. Here we have Paperclip. Now this is another Icebreaker Fractor, which I'm kind of wondering why there's 2 of them in the same one. The boys down at the Century Box were saying much the same thing, but I don't know. But Paperclip, it's got some very interesting art here. I don't know if it's It almost kind of looks like a lady in a dress, but it's very hard to tell. 4 credits to install this, 1 memory unit, 1 strength, 3 influence. So again, like NFR, fairly high influence. So you're probably not going to see it too much um, outside of the Anarch decks, unless it's just a single copy. I would assume. When you encounter a barrier, you may install Paperclip from your heap, paying its install cost. So if you just trash this, it's immediately going to be ready to be installed whenever you encounter a barrier, which is handy. So I can see why the name Paperclip now, yeah, because it's like you're like, I'm just gonna clip this here for when I need it. All right. Then you have X credits for plus X strength, break up to X barrier subroutines if able. So this is nice because you can boost your strength to whatever you need it to be, and that's all you need to do because you're already going to be breaking. If you get boosted up, say, spend 4 credits to make it a strength 5, you're already going to be breaking 5 or 4 subroutines. And most barriers don't have that many. So that could be handy. We've got the flavor text here of, it's not wise to call someone crazy until you fully understand what they're trying to say. Omar Kyung. Now, Omar is somebody who's been featured in the lore, the story surrounding this data pack. And I believe he's coming out in a couple data packs in the future here in the Flashpoint Cycle. All right, I can dig this jive. I think out of the two, I think I like Nerfer better, maybe? I don't know. Because it's power counters, not virus counters. So as long as they're on there, there's no way for them to get off unless a program is trashed. All right. I can dig that. So let's move on to the next. Here we have Golden, a sentry icebreaker killer. And it's got the wonderful golden eagle hawk, I think, some bird of prey. 5 credit to install, 1 memory unit cost, 2 influence, and 1 strength. We've got a 2 credits to break up to 2 sentry subroutines, 2 credits for plus 4 strength, which is lovely, and then 2 credits, return golden to your grip. Derez a sentry. Use this ability only after using golden to break all the subroutines on that sentry during a single encounter. The program was as close to a hunting raptor as she could afford, for now. Now, I believe this one is a lady who we're going to see shortly. I believe this is her program. I quite like it. I've been thinking of throwing this, replacing my Mongoose, because I have Mongoose in my Professor Strange deck. And I'm thinking of putting Golden in instead of Mongoose because it is, I think, a better Sentry Breaker. And it also allows me, because I run a lot of recurring credits with my Professor Strange for installing programs, I could easily return it to my grip after derezzing a Sentry and install it again without having to spend a lot of money. So I like that. So I'm definitely thinking of using this one for my Professor Strange deck because it's quite nice. I like it a lot. I like the ability of derezzing a Sentry, especially if it's a high cost Sentry that they've rezzed, because you can get some pretty potent Sentries and just be like, I break, I derez it. And then if they don't have the money to res it again, the next time you run, you're in like Flint, as they say. All right, on to the next card. Here we have Temujin Contract. It is a resource job for 4 credits to install it. Choose a server and place 20 credits from the bank on Temujin contract when you install it. When there are no credits left on Temujin contract, trash it. Whenever you make a successful run on the chosen server, take 4 from Temujin contract. The best part is, it's legal. By Khan. 2 influence criminal card. Now, I've run into this a few times in games, and it can be pretty potent, especially if, when they install it, you don't have a server that is iced up, like Archives, for example. If you haven't iced it up, they'll pick that one. But they can't change what server it is. So if they put it on and don't get all the credits off of it, and you ice it up that they can't get by it, that makes it harder. They've got to spend money in order to make their money. So it's not bad. It's got a wonderful little art here. You can see of this glowing golden bird. Somebody's getting beat up, and there's a dude in a jacket looking quite angry. So I don't know. I don't know who those guys are. But I wonder if Khan isn't connected to this. And you'll see why, because Khan's also listed on the card. But Khan is also something else too. And here we're going to jump over to the next one. It's Khan, the Savvy Skip Tracer. And you see the blue bird that she's got? Because there was a blue bird in another one in that last card. That's why I think. Maybe. She is a 0 link strength criminal. Identity natural. 40 minimum deck size. 12 influence. The first time you pass a piece of ice each turn, you may install an icebreaker from your hand, lowering the install cost by 1. Okay. Alright. This works with Golden quite well. Because with Golden, you've got it that you break your sentry subroutines, blah, blah, blah. You spend 2 to return it to your grip. Derez a sentry, use it only after using Golden to break all the subroutines on that sentry during a single encounter. So if you've got the money, you can break through those subroutines, return it to your grip to derez a sentry, and then the first time you pass a piece of ice, so after you derez it, you pass it, you can then install that icebreaker, lowering the install cost by 1. So it would only cost 4 to install it again, instead of 5. That's not bad. If you throw a couple of Sahasrahas in there, the recurring credits to install programs, you install a couple of those in there, then the first time you do that, you can basically pay to get through the sentry, pay to derez it, then install it using those credits off Sahasraha to install it for free. That's nice. I like that idea. I like that concept of being able to do that with Golden. And if I'm running it, well, I'm running it on Professor, so he can't do this ability. But yeah, I may have to do a con deck at some point in the future. All right, let's head on to the next card. See what we've got. Oh, we're getting into some shaper ones here. And here we see a bunch of monitors that look like they have a kitten face on them. So I'm thinking this might be a hint that Princess Space Kitten is a shaper, which would be cool. We got Data Breach, a 0 credit run event, 1 influence only, so not very bad, not a big influence. Make a run on R&D. If successful, you may make another run on R&D when this run ends. So if you've got a way into R&D and you make a run on it, you can make a run again immediately, which is good. We've got the flavor text. Once a security flaw is identified, there's only a limited window to exploit it before it's patched. Runners call this period open season. I think this might be the interior of Titan Transnational Banks, where everything's going haywire in the 23 seconds that everything was down. Probably. Now, if you're running something like, if this particular one, take this card, and we'll say, throw this into an Anarch deck with some trash ability, where you're going to be trashing cards for free for at no cost or whatever. If you've got like an imp out where you can spend a click or spend a counter to trash any card, then you could make a run on R&D, trash a card, if successful because you've gotten through, make another run, hit the next card, and maybe you might get lucky for an agenda. Or if you get an agenda on that first one, make another run, maybe you'll get lucky for another one. And it's all only going to cost you one click. So not bad. Not bad at all. I am quite interested in possibly poking around with this one. All right, let's have a look at the next one. Algo trading. Now you see a Japanese parasol almost, with a hand sticking out, catching these falling coins. It's a resource job. When your turn begins, you may move up to 3 credits from your credit pool to Algo Trading. When your turn begins, place 2 on Algo Trading from the bank if there are at least 6 credits on it. Then a click and trash to take all credits. Now this I like. This may actually replace Katie Jones in some of the decks that I have. Because while it's not reusable, as long as it's sitting there as a resource, you pay nothing to install it. It's also got only 1 influence, but you pay nothing to install it, other than a click. Then you have to you need to take 2 turns, because when your turn begins, you move up to 3 credits from your credit pool. So at the least, you're going to spend 2 turns prepping this by putting 6 credits on it. And it's not credits that you're losing because they still sit there, unless it's trashed. So you make that investment into this card. Then when your turn begins the 3rd time, it just starts accumulating 2 credits every turn. So once it builds up enough, you just go click and trash and take all the credits off of it. So you can get a beaucoup amount of credits off this if you play it right and are and you're adequately protected. So yeah, I kind of like it. I might have to play around with this a bit. Have a little fun. And here we have, because we're moving on to another one, here we have Beth Kilrain Chang. We got a wonderfully very colorful looking Asian lady here with some tattoos possibly on her face. 2 credits to install this resource connection. And we have, if the corp has 5 to 9 credits, when your turn begins, you gain a credit. If the corp has 10 to 14 credits, when your turn begins, you draw a card. If the corp has at least 15 credits, when your turn begins, gain a click. Coming to you live from the front lines, for now, unless they kill me. So this actually might not be, she might not be like, I thought she might have been an assassin or something. She may be like an investigative journalist out on the front lines for the reporting and all that good stuff. Okay. But this is a nice one. I've actually toyed with it a bit, and I've seen it in play against me. And yeah, it's a good card. 3 influence, so unless you want to put out for that, probably going to be more or less a shaper card. But for shapers, this is decent. Because as long as the corp has at least 5 credits, you're either getting a credit, a card, or an extra click every time your turn begins. And that is nothing to sneeze at. It actually helped get me some good card draw when I didn't have a professional contacts up for my Professor Strange deck, because I threw Beth Kilrain Chang into it just because it's a good card. Okay, let's bounce off to the next card. Now we're hitting the Corp cards. Here we have Fairchild 2.0. We saw Fairchild 1.0 in the last data pack. Fairchild 2.0, Ice Codegate Bioroid AP. It is a 4 res cost, 3 strength. You see the same, very similar looking, powerful golden woman here. The runner can spend 2 clicks to break up to 2 subroutines on Fairchild. And the subroutines are, the runner must pay 2 credits or trash one of his or her installed cards. The runner must pay 2 credits or trash one of his or her installed cards. And then do 1 brain damage. To threaten my treasures is to incur my wrath. So that's good, because if they're using clicks to break this, they've either got to have they've either got to be running pretty much before their turn begins. There are a couple cards that let you do that in order to be able to go 2 and 2 to break all of these subroutines, or they're going to let 1 fire unless they have code gates to break it. But yeah, that's like 2 credits or trash a card, 2 credits or trash a card, brain damage. It's a pretty nice Bioroid. It's one that's going to have to go into my Bioroid deck, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. All right, let's move on to the next. Oh, before we go, I almost forgot 2 influence on this as well. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now we move on to the next. Now we're on to, we're jumping right into the Jinteki. And here we have, I don't know what that art is signifying. It looks like water, maybe? But it's a Codegate Psi app, or AP. 1 res cost, 3 strength, Codegate. Not bad. 2 influence. You and the runner secretly spend 0, 1, and 2 credits. Reveal spent credits. If you and the runner spent a different number of credits, the runner draws 2 cards. And then it's do a net damage and do a net damage. Flavor text, first blend with the attacker, then control the attack. So that's why you're making them draw 2 cards and then doing 2 net damage. So yeah, definitely, I'm a big fan of the Psi games. I recently, just today, played in a tournament where I was playing Nisei Division with the Psi games. And this is one of the cards that I added into it, because Psi games, always super happy to fun with that. And apparently they're coming out with some new Psi games as well, because there was another Psi game helper in 23 seconds, I believe, and now this one. So yeah, definitely looking forward to what's coming for the Psi games. Let's go on to the next card, see what we have. Here we have Enforcing Loyalty, a Jinteki Operation Double, Grey Ops. 2 credits to play, as well as an additional click. So it's 2 clicks and 2 credits. Trace 3. If successful, trash an installed card that does not match the faction of the runner's identity. 1 influence, 1 trash cost. So this is a trash cost operation. So if they access this in R&D or from your hand, they can trash it for 1. Flavor text of Ico here, it's done. Now, what I like about this is the entire thematic element behind Jinteki being very traditional, very rooted in tradition and tradition-based. And you've got the Asian assassin lady here, the guy that's been shot up, and the fact that it trashes an installed card that does not match the faction of the runner's identity. So any out-of-faction card which includes neutral cards, because neutral cards are not uh, in faction for any of the identities. This in particular against Adam or Apex or Sonny LeBeau could be deadly. Criminals, I can see it being a problem for, because they like to splash in other people's stuff, but so do Shapers and Anarchs as well. So yeah, this is nice. I like the entire theme behind it. I'm just a big fan of Jinteki. I'm a Jinteki fanboy. So yeah, that's really cool, and the artwork is fantastic. You see the smoke billowing up from the gun and everything. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next card. Here we have an NBN card, Hatchet Job. 2 credit operation, double gray ops. As an additional cost to play this operation, spend a click. Trace 5. If successful, add an installed non-virtual card to the runner's grip. 0 credits to trash this, so it's a trashable operation. 2 influence, and it has sell, buy platinum, but get out of the TT credit. It is toxic. And he's taking a hatchet to apparently double T's, Titan Transnational, like cutting it open. He's like the crazy commerce guru that's there. So it's kind of very NBN. You see the graph in the background plummeting out of the graph. So yeah, it's really kind of interesting. I like the whole. He's hitting so hard he's upsetting his coffee cup. But this could be nice, especially for non-virtual cards, because it's an installed non-virtual card. It could be hardware. It could be any resources that are non-virtual. It may be even programs, because I don't think programs are considered virtual unless it says on the card virtual. So I think it actually has to say virtual on it for it to be a virtual card. If it doesn't say virtual on it, it's all pretty much game. But I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to check. But yeah, this is one I would like to splash in my NBN, just for fun. Trace 5 is pretty hefty of a trace. All right, on to the next special report. 1 credit operation, a 2 influence cost. Shuffle any number of cards from HQ into R&D. Draw that number of cards. Now that can be handy, especially in some of my NBN decks where I end up having like 2 and 3 agendas in my hand and no way to do anything with it. If I had one of these, yeah, that would be handy. By the time the report of Emilyov's murder was produced, there had already been a dozen more, hitting all the corpse. And you see the little drone there shining a light on the body of Georgia Emilyov, who we saw last data pack, was a Jinteki sysops. And I believe mentioning she was a sysop that moved from Titan Transnational in the story. So she's been murdered already in the 2nd data pack. My, what could be going on? But yeah, this one is definitely going into my NBN deck. Super handy, this one. All right, let's bamf off to the next card. Got some Wayland stuff going on here. We have the CI Fund, or Confidential Informant, I believe it stands for. 0 credit to res asset, 2 credit trash, 1 influence cost. This almost works exactly like Algo Trading. But, unlike Algo Trading, or like Algo Trading, I should say, when your turn begins, you move up to 3 from your credit pool to CI Fund. When your turn begins, place 2 credits on CI Fund from the bank if there are at least 6 credits on it. So you get 6 credits on it, and it starts generating 2 credits a turn for you. But, unlike Algo Trading, where with that one, for the Shapers, you have to spend a click and trash it, this one you only spend 2 credits and trash it. It is a paid ability. You can do that before the runner has a chance to trash it, as long as it's installed. Because before a runner accesses any cards, you have the opportunity to use paid abilities. So you get this installed, rezzed, start putting money on it. You put 3 credits on it, you put 3 more credits on it. If the runner goes to make a run on it to trash it, you can wait to see if he's going to get through the ice, and if you're pretty sure he's going to get through the ice, you can go, I spend 2 credits and trash it, and I take all credits off of it. So you still get your money back. So it's a little more. I figured the reason why they did that is because it has to be secure. Because unless the runner is tagged, or you have a specific card that's going to target a resource, the runner's economy is mostly safe. As a corp, your economy is not safe. So this is nice. I like the way this is set up. And you see the two people in obvious military power armor type deals, and some guy in like a suit or a jacket. There's dead people all around, and they're like, "You're coming with us, sir. We're going to keep you safe." So it's just kind of nice. I like this for Wayland. This could be a good card to use in place of like maybe in place of Capital Investors, maybe in place of Grendel Refinery. Although I do like Grendel Refinery a lot. Huh. Very interesting. All right, on to the next. Here we have Liquidation. It is an Operation Double Grey Ops transaction. 1 credit to play, as well as an additional click because you have to spend it. 1 influence cost. Trash any number of your rezzed cards. Gain 3 for each card trashed. Flavor text of what's a little insurance fraud between friends. So, rezzed cards is anything. That could be ice, could be assets, could be upgrades. You can trash anything and gain 3 credits for it. That's insane. Especially if you've got a lot of low-cost assets and agendas you can res. Yeah. This one has a place in some decks. I don't know if it has a place in any of mine, but I'm going to be looking into it because I like the idea of this one. Huh. Alright. On to the next. Oh, Wayland Consortium Identity. Builder of Nations. It is a 40 minimum card deck, 12 influence. Megacorp Identity. The first time the runner encounters a piece of ice with at least 1 advancement token on it each turn, do 1 meat damage. So this is doing meat damage to you going in. As soon as you hit something with an advancement token on it, you got to meat damage. Flavor text of Strength makes leaders. Now, I've played against this there today in the tournament that I was in. Or earlier today, the day that I'm recording this, not the day that it's going to go up. But it's pretty handy, especially with like ice walls and firewalls that he had. And of course, he had other ice that lets you throw advancement tokens on it too. So yeah, it's pretty decent. He was also using something that let him choose a piece of ice with advancement tokens on it and get money off of it equal to the advancement tokens on it. And he had like an ice wall with like 9 advancement tokens on it. So every time he played that, it was like 9 credits for 0. I mean, it was insane. Absolutely insane. Good old Wayland. Yeah. I could probably... I thought about switching this identity out for my... for my deep space identity. Because I have a deep space identity with all the Constellation Ice, which has advancement tokens to lower its res cost. So it's automatically going to have advancement tokens on it, so that's automatic meat damage coming in the first time. Which is nice. which is nice. All right, on to the next. Oh, here we have a neutral card. Financial collapse. You see zero credit, res. See chaos theory, looking very sad, hugging Dinosaurus. You see the picture of the two guys in the background with chaos theory, smiling, and the two guys in the background are arguing. Operation, play only if the runner has at least 6 credits. The runner loses 2 credits for each installed resource. The runner can trash a resource to prevent this. Flavor text, she'd never heard her dads argue like this. Not ever. She'd give anything to make it stop. And that just breaks my heart. Because you've got the poor little wonderkind hacker shaper lady, and the financial collapse is hitting them hard because you're either making the runner lose money with this. They're either losing money or they're going to lose a resource. So either way, they're losing something, which is usually what happens in a financial collapse. So it's very thematically appropriate, and yeah, it's showing some nasty stuff happening from this Flashpoint cycle. Things are changing in the world of Android. And last but not least, we're going to swing on over to the final card, Prysec. It is an upgrade ambush, which is 0 credits to install or to res. If the runner accesses Prysec while installed, you may pay 2 credits to give the runner 1 tag and do 1 meat damage. 3 credits to trash. While the money pooled at the top, the power went with it until there were 2 sets of laws, one for them, one for us. Omar Kyung, the Flashpoint. So Omar Kyung, who we're going to see in another data pack, wrote something called the Flashpoint, and that's what this data cycle is all about. So definitely interesting. You see a shadowy lady here, and there's a dude in the background looking kind of either like a bodyguard or an assassin maybe. But I like the fact that it's an upgrade ambush and not an asset ambush, which means you could have this in a server as an upgrade and throw an ambush in on top of it. Oh, I just thought of something too. Yeah, this is going in my Jinteki deck because I could throw this in as an upgrade, throw in an either a Project Junebug or a Psychic Field maybe. For a Psychic Field, that would be all, it's going to be like, kaboom, I will do a side game and possibly wipe out your entire hand, followed by this to give the runner a tag and do a meat damage. And if you've already wiped out their hand, if they've got no way to protect against meat damage, then they're dead. Which I like. I like killing runners. It's fun for me. But yeah, this is a nice little card. I haven't used it yet, but now that I've looked at it, it's definitely going to be making an appearance in my Jinteki deck. Possibly others. So that's it for this data pack. I think I've probably rambled on for quite some time about it. So we're going to leave this episode here. As always, my friends, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well, if you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. Usually try and get at least 1 video out a week. I've been making good progress at getting more than that, but I will only promise you at least 1 per week, and throw a comment in the comment section. What do you think about the Flashpoint cycle? What do you think about Blood Money and some of the cards in here? Let's get a discussion going. I'd love to talk to some people, especially about Netrunner. I will talk for days and days. So do all that, and until next time, my friends, remember, keep running.